Hello everyone, myself Pallavi Patil from Praveen Patil College of Diploma Engineering and Technology. In last video, we saw the Unit 4 Part 1. In that we saw the WLL architecture, WLL advantage and application, types of the WLL. In this video, we will learn the line coding technique. Let's see what are the outcomes of this video. Learner will be able to understand what is the LEC and second line coding technique. Next, line coding technique. Let's see the first, what is LEC. The LEC means local exchange carrier. It is a regulated term in a telecommunication for the local telephone company in the United States, US. The wireline telephone companies are divided into two large categories: long distance and local local area. The LEC is a local exchange carrier, is a public telephone company in US. The sum of the large LEC and other operating companies which were ground in the holding the companies known as the collecting the regional bell operating system. The LEC companies are also sometimes referred as a telecos. A local exchange is the local central office. The local exchange connect to the other local exchange with the local access and transport area to the inter-exchange carrier, such as a long-distance carrier. The next, line coding technique. The line coding technique is the process of converting digital data to the digital signal. By this technique, we convert the sequence of bit to a digital signal at the sender side digital data and encode it into the digital signal, and it receive the side digital data and receive by decoding the digital signal. A line code is a code used for the data transmission of digital signal over the transmission line. This process of coding is used so as to avoid the overlap and distortion of the signal, such as a inter-symbol interference. The next is a line coding technique. The types of the line coding: unipolar, polar and bipolar, and multi-level and multi-transition. Let's see the first. Simply the line coding basically the line coding technique is a process is converting the binary data, that is a sequence of bit, to a suitable format for the transmission through the channel with minimum probability of error. Basically the mostly the basically three type: unipolar types, polar, bipolar, okay, and multi-level and multi-transaction. The first, unipolar. The unipolar signaling is also called as the on-off keying or simply OK. That is on-off keying. The presence of pulse represent of 1, and then absence of pulse is represent 0. Present 1, absent 0. There are two barriers in a unipolar signaling: non-return to 0 and return to 0. There are the two types of the unipolar, like non-return to 0 and return to 0. Let's see the first. The first unipolar, that is a NRZ. NRZ is a non-return to 0. In these types of the unipolar, a high in data is represented by the positive pulse called as a mark, which has a duration T0, like a T0 equal the symbol bit duration, or low in data input has no pulse. The following figure clearly show what is the NRZ. In these types, the unipolar, the high in a data is represented as a positive pulse, okay, called as a mark, which duration T0 equal to the symbol duration. There is a low data input has a no pulse, that is a NRZ. The next is a return to zero. Unipolar return to zero. In these types of the unipolar, sending a high data through the represent by mark pulse. Its duration T0 is less than symbol bit duration. Half of the bit duration remains high, but it immediately return to zero and show the absent pulse the remaining half of the bit duration. This is a diagram of the RZ, that is a return to zero. The next is a polar. The polar, there are the two types of method in a polar. Polar Nrz and polar Rz. Let's see the first polar Nrz. The polar Nrz means it is a use. Is this types of polar is a high data is a high data is represented by the positive pulse. In low data, it represents a negative pulse. The following figure. High data means 1, then it is a positive, and when it is 0 is showing the negative. The next, the polar RZ. In these types of polar signaling, a high in data through represent by a mark pulse. A duration T0 is less than the symbol bit duration. Half of the bit duration remain high, but it immediately return to zero and show the absence of pulse during the remaining half of the bit duration. However, a low input is negative pulse is represented data and the zero level is remains same the half of the duration. Then this is the following, this is the diagram of the RZ, the polar RZ returns to zero. The next is a unipolar Nrz. In these types of the unipolar signal, high data is represent the positive pulse. It is a positive pulse called as a mark which has duration T0. And T0 equal to symbol is a low level data. It is a no pulse. The next is a bipolar. In a bipolar, this is encoding technique which has three voltage level. Name has a plus, minus, and zero, such as this called as a duo binary signal. Even in this method, we have two types: bipolar Nrz and bipolar Rz. Let's see the first. The bipolar Nrz and bipolar Rz is a bipolar signal. This is an encoding technique actually which is has three voltage level. There are the three voltage level like a plus and minus and zero, such as a signal is called as a duola. Example of this types alternative mark inversion. For the one, the voltage level get transit from the plus zero plus to minus, or from minus to plus, having alternative ones to be equal, the equal polarity to the zero will we have to zero voltage level. Even in this method we have two types, namely bipolar Nrz and bipolar Rz. Okay, this is a bipolar Nrz and bipolar Rz. This method we will learn in this. This is a bipolar signaling, and it's a line coding techniques. The line coding techniques, basically three types: unipolar techniques, polar, and bipolar. Okay, in unipolar we have RZ and RZ. In polar we have the RZ and RZ. In bipolar AM. These are the technique of the line coding. Thank you, dear student. This is the Unit 4 Part 2 PPDs. In next lecture, in next session, we will learn the remaining part of Unit 4. You have any doubt, you have any query related this topic, we will discuss, and write down your queries, note down your queries. We will discuss on live session. Thank you.